his talent is out of control, and I've seen it from the crowd to the stage, and I've seen it on the screens, but to see it next to me, I realized that he's a human metronome. He's got this ability to be able to just create, and it's so instinctive, and it never feels like he's thinking about it. It was incredible to witness. I think it was pretty clear by my face that it was incredible to witness. There was no poker face in that moment.
Like from Fred, like a lot about songwriting, seeing him just think so much in terms of the song always, and be like, well, what's the actual emotional idea here, and what's the song at the heart of it all? Like all sorts of sounds and drops and all these sorts of things, but unless there's a song in there somewhere, then he's sort of less it's not working what he's trying to achieve, and that's very interesting to see, like somebody who's such a good songwriter.
Fred again's incredible, and I love his approach to making music, and yeah, I definitely agree with, every time I see him talk, I agree. Like I'm very drawn to sort of the artifacts and random sounds. And
Fred again has become the face of electronic music in the last 5 years, but how did the UK born and based artist take the entire industry by storm? Here's the story of how Fred got to where he is now. Fred's upbringing was very much one surrounded by classical music, with him completing a year at Trinity College in London, where he said his mindset shifted and he learnt to appreciate the discipline needed to be as high level of a musician as possible. You'd walk along every corridor and everyone would be practicing for 10 hours a day until their fingers couldn't play. Bringing this into his own life to be able to dedicate structure and discipline to his approach with his own music career. Fred, as I said earlier, dropped out of Trinity College after a year and went on to work with Brian Eno, who mentored Fred from age 16 and is still a close friend, mentor and collaborator with Fred, and Brian releasing Secret Life, a more classical inspired version of Fred's series of albums called Actual Life, in 2023.
This is not modesty or false flattery or anything like that. I think of Fred as my mentor as well, in that I learnt so much about contemporary music from watching him working. I didn't, when I first worked with Fred, I could see he was brilliant. It's very clear. He's a very, very sensitive and good artist. And I was very impressed by that. But I didn't really understand a lot of what he was doing. It took me quite a while to think, oh my gosh, this is really a new idea about how you can make music. So I learned a lot from him. So it's a two-way relationship, I'm very flattered to be called a mentor of someone whose work I like a lot, but actually it worked both ways around.
Before Fred ended up in the mainstream with his own name, he worked heavily behind the scenes as Fred Gibson. Him and his brother, who is also Fred's manager, were determined to find more work for Fred and ways to get his production skills in front of labels, artist management, etc. Anyone and everyone, big and small in the world of pop and hip-hop, ended up in a session with Fred during this time period. Some of the most notable releases that were produced by Fred in this time period included George Ezra's Shotgun, Clean Bandit's Solo, and he is hugely credited on Ed Sheeran's No. 6 Collaborations project. With Fred saying about Ed that there was just an effortless synergy. We would write 3 songs a day, every day. One would be bad, one would be quite good, and one would be weird. Fred was winning awards, being credited on some of the biggest UK songs, and probably at the top of his production career. But then with encouragement from his mentor Brian Eno, he decided to focus on his solo music more. I briefly mentioned Fred's Actual Life albums earlier, which were a series of 3 albums that spanned from 2020 to 2022. As the name details, the albums were based on experiences Fred went through in his actual life, and he became known for his unique approach to music making. Many artists use real-world inspiration to make their songs, but Fred was taking this to another realm with his use of real-world samples. For instance, even the intro April 14th, 2020 on Actual Life 1 is from a clip Fred took when he was in Atlanta, where he met some construction workers who said the infamous "I want you to see me, Fred, I'm here."
Hey, what's he gonna say?
We gonna make it through. You know what it is.
now when I come through, I want you to see me, Fred. I'm here.
These guys are giving me life.
This particular construction worker, Carlos, is actually featured on Actual Life 1 8 times in total, showing the impact he had on Fred in their meeting. Similarly, the second song on Actual Life 1 is based around a piece of poetry performed by Kyle Tran Meyer called Love in the Time of Undeaf, uploaded to Button Poetry's YouTube channel.
Found you exploding, brimstone on your lips, tattooed with the fury as warm as the sun used to be. I found you beautiful. I found you beautiful. I found you exploding. I found you.
Again, similarly, Fred uses online materials on Actual Life 1 again on Sabrina I Am a Party, where he uses Sabrina Benaim, Explaining My Depression to My Mother poetry piece from Button Poetry's YouTube channel again to detail mental health struggles.
Mom, I am the party. Only I am a party I don't want to be at. Mom says, why don't you try going to actual parties? See your friends. Sure, I make plans, but I don't want to go. I make plans because I know I should want to go. I know sometimes I would have wanted to go. It's just not that much fun having fun when you don't want to have fun, Mom.
It's just not that much fun having fun when you don't want to have fun.
Fred's approach to music making and inspiration sources was unique. No one else was making a song based around an online poetry performance that they resonated with, or a random interaction with construction workers on the other side of the pond, and this drew fans' attention to him, while also allowing those fans to find a relatable message within his work. Similarly, Fred's approach to actually physically sitting down and making his music was unique. Instead of using a studio or making music at home, Fred instead became notoriously known for making music in and around London, with him saying in an interview with Zane Lowe, "For what I was making, I wanted it to feel earthy, so making it in the world made sense to me," on working in and around random spots in London, which I think did add a layer of realness to this series of albums that possibly wouldn't have been possible if he didn't create the music in such a way. In July 2022, Fred performed a London Boiler Room set which now currently stands at 44 million views and took his career to new heights due to its explosion in virality. It became a talking point in areas outside of just electronic music, with many viral moments such as the guy next to him who accidentally stopped the set, getting a wider variety of people to check out the set in its entirety and therefore check out Fred's music. This was a turning point in Fred's career. With his popularity exploding, tickets to his shows became almost like gold dust, with 71,000 people being in the queue for the London Brixton shows Fred did in 2023, with Fred saying, "There's moments where I'm forced to notice that something's changed, like when we did the Brixton shows in London at the end of the year." He is now the face of electronic music and has been highly praised for his approach to making music, but what is next for Fred? Since his Actual Life series of albums wrapped up in 2022, Fred has jumped from height to height, with him going on to collaborate with fellow electronic music artists Skrillex and Fortet, who he headlined Coachella with in 2023, and last year released his new project 10 Days, a collection of 10 songs made in relation to 10 distinct days of Fred's life. He is showing no signs of slowing down. His disciplined and unique approach to music has made his career, and I truly believe Fred will be remembered as one of the pioneers of electronic music in years to come.